to Channel 6 News,
where your news comes first.
I'm Ben Brisk.
And I'm Julie Doran.
And we'll be bringing the news to you tonight. Top story is about the emergence of Frankenstein as a leader in the research for genetic manipulation. Since Mary Shelley published the book in 1818, it has been on the cutting edge of the topic of gene manipulation. It was one of the first ever publications to deal with the matter in the public eye. The horrible malformations of a man-made creature has pushed the realm of possibilities for what humans can create even further, and is now the centerpiece of what is an up-and-coming scientific movement. The tale is fictional. The science behind the creation of the creature has sparked a public debate, whether or not it is ethical or even possible for something like this to come into existence in the real world. Over the recent years, this debate has gone from a series of hypothetical questions to a preliminary set of real-world applications called genetic engineering. Let's go to our field reporter, Ben Brisk.
Thank you, Ben. I'm coming to you live from the office of Dr. Cornelia Van Reed, famous genetic engineer, and we're going to discuss why she chose a career in this field. Dr. Van Reed, can you please speak to the inspirations that you had in following this career path?
Well, Ben, when I reflect on it, I think my first and most important inspiration was the book Frankenstein. It made a great impression on me as a person and ultimately helped determine my career path. I think of Dr. Frankenstein as the first true genetic engineer.
Dr. Van Reed.
Please, call me Cordelia.
Okay, Cordelia. Was the novel the first time the topic of gene manipulation was discussed?
Well, I believe there were earlier instances where this topic was raised, but this is the first time that I can recall that it was applied to humans. And that, again, was very captivating.
That's really interesting. Could you tell me more about the role of Dr. Frankenstein and his influence on your choice of career?
Yes, Ben. Of course, I realize that it's fiction, the work of fiction, but it still captivated my imagination that in a lab, someone could not only alter life, but in the case of Dr. Frankenstein, create life. As a young girl reading that for the first time, it captured my imagination and made me want to explore more, and ultimately led to my career path.
Thank you, Doctor. This has been a very fascinating interview.
Ben, thank you. I've enjoyed it as well.
From all of us at Channel 6 News, we'd like to thank you for tuning in. Back to you in the studio.
Tonight we have a very interesting story for you all. Have you ever hoped for a child with specific physical traits? You probably just hoped for a healthy baby. With the process of gene manipulation, you just might be able to have both. Manipulation is not a new process, although in recent years it has raised some questions. Scientists have been trying to come up with a way to genetically manipulate embryos that raises some ethical questions. Is it ethically okay to genetically modify an embryo to possess certain superficial traits such as light eyes and light hair? Many people say no, but that isn't stopping scientists from coming up with a way. Many people would agree that it is beneficial to test an embryo for hereditary diseases. With recent technology, scientists are able to do this. But again, the issue of ethics comes up. Is it wrong for people to choose an embryo that isn't predisposed to the disease over one that has the possibility of carrying it? Scientists manipulate genes by transferring one piece of an organism to another. Gene manipulation is done in a lab, where the gene that needs to be transferred is identified and removed from the current organism. Then it is placed in a promoter that helps it get accustomed to its new surroundings before being transferred to the other organism. Some pros to gene manipulation would be being able to ensure, at least to some extent, the health of your child, and on a superficial level, knowing what the child might look like. But there's also some cons. Those things haven't been done before using a human embryo, and so there's some risk and failure rate that goes along with it. There's no way to ensure the process is both safe and effective. Please let us know in the comments below if you would choose gene manipulation for your embryo. Why or why not?
Brisk and Julia Doran and Channel 6 News, we'd like to thank you for watching the news this evening.
Stay classy, Columbus!
A Ben Brisk production.